Nice. So then I imagine like the big question that we're gonna feed you here, you're gonna have some solid different answers than we would normally get. And that's if you had 5 albums you think everyone should run out right now and listen to, what would they be? And I'll say this: if you have 5 songs you want to do instead, some people don't think in terms of albums. I'm an album guy.
I was gonna say, you're asking me to do album names? What?
I forgot he's younger. He just never heard of an album.
You're aging yourself there, bub.
You want me to put that in 8-track form for you?
Preferably.
Oh, he's got jokes.
Jokes. I mean, I had an 8-track player growing up, so I thought it was.
That's actually
a joke?
accurate.
Yeah, it's factually.
It's not a joke, man. It's serious. It's really important to me.
It's a factual statement.
Oh, good lord.
The music that everyone should go out and listen to. Obviously, the important disclaimer of, I'm a voluntarist. You should listen to whatever you want to listen to. But if there is some music that
I want to push back on that statement so bad.
Are you going to say that nobody should listen to country? Is that where you're going to go with this?
Oh no, I don't care what they listen to. I listen to some Hank Williams III. No, what I was actually going to say is, look, just because this is like those people that say, well, it's a private company, so they can do what they want. Well, that doesn't mean I can't have an opinion on them being a shitty private company. And like you can do and listen to what you want to listen to. Doesn't mean I can't have an opinion on your shitty musical taste. I'm just saying.
It does mean though that when the show is breaking records and competing with TMZ, that when this is played over and over again, I may not want every angry fan of X to contact me.
This is true. Way to hedge your bets.
I mean, if we have that that's a success problem. We'll be okay with it.
Right. First world problem.
I imagine the coffers that you get for We Do Better are going to be in a nice place. You'll be okay with it by that point.
We'll find out. So albums that everyone should listen to, and I'll give different reasons for each. I'll try to remember the album if I can. If I can't, I'll give you the artist at the very least. Who to listen to? I would say the first one is one I haven't mentioned yet, which is Seven Lions. They're like a chill step, maybe a little bit of dubstep group with female vocals. Amazing music, and their album, The Throes of Winter, rather. It has some tracks on there that I'm a little bit. See, I never get to talk about music on shows. I'm always talking about politics and people who need stuff and stuff.
Well, I want people to care about you as a person enough to give a shit about your politics, is my thought.
That works. I've painted a picture of an emo teenager so far, but the
I was an emo teenager, so we don't have things in common.
Great. So, The Throes of Winter, because I tend to be a little bit of a music file or audio file. One of the really cool things in this album is they make use of both the right and left speakers a lot, and separately from each other. So you will hear a sound in your left earbud, your left headphone, that will slowly grow, and all of a sudden it'll transfer over to your right, and you might not hear it on the left anymore, and then you'll hear it back on the left, and then you'll hear them both at once. You're
a younger guy. Have you ever heard of Zyreka by the Flaming Lips?
I've heard of the Flaming Lips.
Well, the Flaming Lips released an album back in, I think, the mid to late 90s called Zyreka. That is, It's 4 albums designed to be played simultaneously on 4 separate stereo systems.
What?
So, like, what you're talking about, like, really utilizing the stereo field, this was designed with 8 channels of audio interacting with each other, with things happening on all of them very independently of each other, but designed to create this giant field of things happening.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, just something to think about. I like the idea. In practicality, it's difficult because you need to have 8 stereo systems all at once.
Right. So the next one is a classic. It's Lasers by Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, that's the second time we've had that one.
Great. Sorry, I'm disappointing. I sometimes like same things.
No. It's actually a nice callback to the first interview we ever had with Michael Heiss.
Michael Heiss likes lasers, huh?
That was he's a big Lupe guy. It was on his list.
Wonder if he likes lasers as much as he likes getting back with people who call him. But anyway, aside.
Snap! Hey, he's important now.
I hear. So that would be another one. The next one, they're not albums. I'm not even sure if they put out albums, but low-key, everything from Abomination to Oishkan Helua Huria, an amazing album from an amazing artist. And you guys, if you want to see an absolutely stunning performance that would, this whole Eminem MGK battle, it puts it to shame completely. Look up low-key Fire in the Booth. It is 8 minutes of the fastest and actually comprehensible, he's making a point with this, rapping that you will ever hear.
So he's going at Twista, I hope.
Twista should knock on his door once in a while when Loki has time.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
It message me afterward and let me know what you think, because I think it holds up. But anything by Loki, really. And then the next one is any of Hopsin's Ill Minds. He does. So Hopsin, I think, is most known for making fun of crap rappers like Lil Wayne.
I think Ill Mind 3 was like going around for a while on Facebook. I just remember it was like a video in blacklight or something. But it was popular about 2 years ago or something.
There's one he did really recently. I don't remember the name of it, but it's basically about these politicians take his mom's medicine away. And, well, they don't survive.
Nice.
So, and it's a very interesting, deep video that he does. So, anything by Hopsin, really good. NF's Therapy Session is another incredible album. And then a callback to my youth, long time ago, was, and this is gonna pin me down, but Comatose by Skillet.
Nice.
Way back.
You just made Liz happy. Somebody's talking Christian music, so she's all like, "Yay! I know what they're talking about."
I know some of those other artists too, but yeah, I know much more about Skillet than I do about rap. This is true.
Comatose used to be my favorite song in existence. I think I've probably got other ones that have outdone it by now, but Skillet's still a fan favorite.
Nice.
So now, you guys have been interviewing me the whole time. I know it's your show, and that's kind of how this is supposed to work. But
Go for it.
What are some of the biggest, like, if you guys had to each name an album that you think not really many people know about, but is amazing and people like me should listen to it, what would you guys recommend?
Well, episode number 1 and episode number 11 of the Sounds Like Liberty podcast, where we do a top 5 albums.
Really? You're just gonna plug the podcast?
Well, of course I'm gonna plug the podcast. Well, here's the question I would ask, because to me, as a music guy, I can go all kinds of different ways with that. Based on what you're talking about, like the way that you listen to records, I'd have to say you've probably heard it, but you may be young enough that you didn't have much familiarity with it. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, though, would be a really, really good socially conscious record from like back when I was a teenager.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I had not heard of it before.
Well, you've missed out. You do know who Lauryn Hill is?
Sure. I mean, no.
She's that crazy Muslim lady, right?
What group was she in?
The Fugees.
Oh, the Fugees. Which is Wyclef Jean and some other guy, and
we're old. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's good. I was gonna feel like an ass. He's like, come on, like I haven't heard Lauryn Hill.
There you go.
Well, it's socially conscious when one of the producers is Che Guevara.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be on there.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Okay.
very, very into that stuff. It's just terrible because I find like from all the really good libertarian all the really good libertarian music, it tends to be like ANCOM or very, very leftist, and mostly because it's all talking back to the idea of power. They just never quite take it to its actual logical end game. They just want to stop somewhere arbitrarily along the way. We get into this once an episode about the whole ANCOMs versus ANCAPs in punk rock, because I don't understand how anyone can be punk rock and be DIY ethos and want there to be some type of centralized governing body telling everyone how to live their life. Doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, another song I think of, and it's just a song, so it didn't pop up when you asked about albums, but and I don't know anything more by the group, but I Can Ride My Bike with No Handlebars.
Oh, yeah.
I think I just figured out which song we're going to talk about on our analysis today.
There you go.
Flow. The Flow box.
But you were going to say, Liz, you were going to throw out an album too, I believe.
Well, since you threw out Skillet, I was wondering if you'd heard, like, if you'd gone back in their catalog, like, to the beginning.
In my catalog or yours?
In Skillet's catalog.
To Collide?
No. Okay. Well then, just for shits and giggles, you could check out. There's a record before that. It's called Alien Youth. That one will probably be a fun listen. And then there's one before that called Hey You, I Love Your Soul. I'm not saying you're gonna find like your new favorite tracks, but it might just be fun to kind of see where they came from before they got like super cool and polished and produced and whatnot.
I think I'd heard of. I've listened to Alien Youth now that I think about it, but Hey You, I Love Your Soul, I have never actually heard before.
Yeah, that was way back in the day. So there you go. Enjoy.
Great.
And if you just want ultra smart lyrics, I recommend the first OK Go record, which I believe is just OK Go.
OK Go. Okay, Google. Okay, go.
There you go.
My phone's actually thinking that I wanted it to do something.
They're not socially conscious, but lyrically, Damian Kulash is one of the best lyricists I can think of. They're very, very, very intelligently written. Although their politics are horrible.
See, this is making me
like absolutely atrocious. Like they're straight up like shilling for Democrats. Like I'll at least take the ANCOMs over like putting your seal of approval on Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying.
Someone who is who I personally met. Actually, I brought him to a concert once. Who is very gritty, but incredibly brilliant. If you get to sit down with him, and his music is pretty good, is Tech. Immortal Technique.
Ah. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I just need to send this to Michael Heiss, and you'll have no trouble like getting him to respond to you. He's like, oh my God, we have all the same bands in common.
I mean, everybody talks about Tech's music, and Tech's music is really good, and when I listened to Dance with the Devil for the first time, oh my word, that is the biggest surprise at the end of that song. Like, you just think you're listening to a hard rap song, and then you find out it's his mother. That is the most incredible, this is really evil human beings type of music.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, but I want more people to sit down with Tech and hear what he has to say about society, like when he's not singing. When he's not, saying Bush brought down the towers and getting the whole crowd to jump up and down. He talks a lot about how, in the ghetto, they're ready for revolution. They've been ready for revolution. And I asked him, how do you get these people to do something then? Like, what is it going to take? And he said, for you, you're going to need to go research Black history, and you're going to need to know it. And then you're going to need to show that you know it. He said, because, there's a whole month for it, which is kind of ridiculous that it's only a month and that there's actually a month for it. But is like, this is generation after generation after generation, thousands of years of history. And he said, you know a lot of what he called white history. And I may not agree with him on everything, but you know a lot of white history. You need to know a lot of Black history if you want to start, or at least some, if you want to start talking to these guys. And his insights on social revolution. He volunteers at a prison for, I want to say, at least once a week. Helping to mentor the kids there and talk to them about it. And having him on a show or getting to sit down with him and actually just talk to him about some of his insights on society. I wish more people would do it because he's a brilliant artist. Oh,
no, for sure. That reminds me, I know if you've listened to people who've talked to Maj Touré about, what's it going to take to get into the Black neighborhoods and get the message out there. And I think his approach is literally just, you're going to need to have somebody vouch for you. Otherwise, they're never going to listen to you. I mean, because the thing about knowing Black history is that most Black people don't know Black history. They know the Black history the Democratic Party has been telling them to swallow for, the past 100 years, which is a very, very one-sided, paternalistic version of it. Where, hey, we've protected you, and these are the things you need to be wary of. Like the number of people that literally believe that the government is why we don't have segregation anymore. It's like, well, no, but that's like you have to deal with the fact that the government is why you had it in the first place. Like,
have you ever seen MLK's To America's speech?
Yeah.
It's been a long while since I've listened to it. I actually tend to like Malcolm more, but...
Well, I'm glad you guys have, at least Liz. I'm glad at least someone's socially conscious on this show. But, one of the things... So he gives that speech, I want to say it's at Harvard. And basically the speech is... It focuses a lot on, or people have focused a lot on its depiction of the two Americas, but the most important thing about that speech to me was he lays out his justification for using government intervention to forward the civil rights movement. And I think that he did a lot of disservice to the civil rights movement when he did that, and when he tried to force that down. And I think it spread the seeds for a lot of the pushback that there is to that now, particularly from in the Trump era. But it's interesting to listen to him say, basically, I know that this probably isn't the best way to go, but I don't see any other option to get this moving as fast as I want it to. Basically, he was desperate.
Yeah.
And he said that, okay, well, I don't have anywhere else to turn, and that is why we did this. So if you want to get a really good insight into why did the civil rights movement try to use government force to push its ideas onto people, that speech is a really interesting insight into MLK's thought process.
I want to make a big joke about the neocon who's finally on a podcast with a black person, and now he has to make a civil rights thing.
He's like, I'm woke. Check me out.
We're going to get moving along, man. But, dude, it's been a lot of fun. It's been great having you on. You have some links and stuff you want to drop again just to make sure people think about it? Because I love what you're doing. It's what everybody needs to be focusing on. You're literally be the change you wish to see in the world.
Well, I've had a lot of people who've inspired me to do that, including Derek Rose and Ron Paul and lots of people out there. My mentor Jeff Lewis, who've been instrumental in that. So the two things, really. One, as far as the broader We Do Better movement. What I'd ask you guys to do, and I'd ask you guys to spread out, whether you're listening or whether you're hosting this show, is start talking about the organizations that do better. Start directing people to organizations that meet human needs in their area. Start telling people, hey, these are solutions. Because in a lot of ways, the idea of liberty has been spread by saying, here's how bad the current system is. Well, if you say how bad things are and you keep hitting people over the head with a hammer, but you never actually offer them another option, then they're never going to change. They're just going to accept that it's really bad. And then there are lots of people out there today who accept that it's really... I talked to a guy today who called me. He was angry. One of the posts that one of the organizations I run, People Against the NDAA, or I founded, my number's apparently still on their contact page because they put out a post and this guy was furious, like absolutely beside himself that Panda would ever acknowledge or say anything that sounded like Panda supported illegal immigration. I mean, he was just beside himself. And I sensed there was some real frustration there. That it wasn't just some guy pushing his political agenda. This is a real person. And we got talking, and I told him about, well, there are lots of other ways to solve. He was talking about, I can barely get. I'm having economic issues, right? I see all these people they're not from here and taking stuff, and I don't even have enough for my family. And, we started talking about ways to take care of, his family outside of government and different ways to do things. And it was about a half-hour conversation. At the end of the conversation, he said, I was just frustrated and I didn't know what to do, and I was upset and angry, but you gave me hope that there is a better way. And I'm going to start telling everybody I know about you guys, because this is hope. This is real. This is a good thing. And spreading the word and telling people about the ways that we can solve problems together instead of fighting each other with the government. I would ask you guys to do that on your show. I would ask you guys to tell other people, encourage other people to do that. We have 45 examples of organizations that do better on our website, wedobetter.org. At the very least, please do that. If you want to get more involved than that, you can go to wedobetter.org, click Get Involved, start getting active in your community, and allowing people to send their tax dollars to those organizations, and spreading the word about organizations that do better in concert with us, or donating. We survive through monthly donations, and if you're willing to do that and help this organization reach as many people as possible, then we'd really appreciate it. Again, if you want to get more involved, that website is wedobetter.org. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
It's been a lot of fun, Daniel. Dan. Sorry.
It works. I got some new music to listen to. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, boss.
All right, bye.
Climb to your rolling, we'll tell you